Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Welcome to the Salt Lake Center for Spiritual Living. Thanks for showing up today. Thanks for all those tuning in on our love stream this morning. We're just going to get right to it. Sing our opening song. Be as, in your big people voice, sing out. Maybe your young person voice. Sing out. All right. Rainbow Connection.
Why are there so many songs about rainbows and what's on the other side? Rainbows are visions, but only illusions, and rainbows have nothing to hide. So we've been told, and some choose to believe it. I know they're wrong, wait and see. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. Who said that every wish would be heard and answered when wished on a morning star? Somebody thought of that, and someone believed it, and look what it's done so far. What's so amazing that keeps us stargazing, and what do we think we might see? Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. All of us under its spell, we know that it's probably magic. Have you been half asleep, and have you heard voices? I've heard them calling my name. Is this the sweet song that calls the young sailors? The voice might be one and the same. I've heard it too many times to ignore it. It's something that I'm supposed to be. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. La da dee da 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 dum, la da da dee da dum da dee. And the rainbow pants to match. Happy Sunday here at the Salt Lake Center for Spiritual Living. My name is Linda Brewer, and I'm so blessed to have the privilege of welcoming all of you who have dug your way out of all the snow this week to get here this morning, and all of you who are snug at home in your pajamas, watching us, or from wherever you happen to be. I'm so grateful you're with us. If you're one of our dear virtual congregants, if you will please share your name and location so that we can feel connected with you even though you're not here in the room. Our practitioners serving today are Selena Baugh doing our reading and our prayer for us, and Katie Hernandez holding high watch in the back of the room, knowing that the best and highest is unfolding as we share this sacred time together this morning. Our center is a spiritual community that teaches a philosophy for daily living based on spiritual principles and practices that are universal among religions. We honor every pathway by which people seek to know and connect with the divine, and we work on our individual consciousness so that we can help make the world a better place. So if you will, I invite you to recommit yourself and join me in saying together our purpose statement. We are an open, welcoming community, celebrating our divinity, loving our humanity, and nurturing our journeys of spiritual discovery. Thank you. Our theme for February is the connection between curiosity and courage. And Reverend Cindy's topic for today is, did curiosity kill the cat? She comes up with these great things, and I always just can't wait to hear, what is she going to do with that? So we have so many great things coming up, starting with the most important class in our CSL curriculum, the Foundations of Science of Mind class. The class starts this Tuesday, February 28th. It runs for 10 weeks. Foundations is a prerequisite for all of the certificated classes that the Centers for Spiritual Living offer. So if you're wanting to get more deeply into all of this, or if you're thinking about becoming a practitioner, this is job one, is to take the Foundations class. So you can register in the lobby or on our website. And I encourage everyone to explore this class if you haven't. Foundations is where many of us really began to feel like this center is the place that we'd been searching for, where we made friendships that lasted for years or sometimes decades. And we really used Foundations to begin to put into practice the principles and teachings that we learn here on Sunday morning. So now that you've heard a little bit about us, if you're here for the very first time and you're willing to admit that, if you will raise your hand or stand up, we would love to welcome you. Anybody here for the first time? Don't be shy. Woohoo! All right, I love it. You are who we're looking for, honey.
Well, that's the
and whoever else
troublemaker
is with
section
you.
over there.
What?
Where Katie is, that's the troublemakers.
The troublemakers are over there?
Society. Yeah, you have the brothers, not so grim. And- Hey, sorry to interrupt.
That's okay. I'll just join in when you sing. No, I won't, I promise. All right. No, the room would empty really fast if we did that. If you have not already done so, we have a welcome packet for you at the concierge table, and it has a gift of a copy of The Science of Mind. So we encourage you to pick that up if you're here for the first time, and we affirm for you and everyone here that you experience a blessing here this morning, and I know you will. So I know that Jarrett's concert on Friday night was a really great evening. I don't think Shemaine is here to thank, but please.
She is.
Is she?
She's
hi.
She's being a busybody.
Okay. Well, wherever she is, she did a great job putting all that together. So there she is. Yay!
Come out of the closet.
Great job. Oh, okay. Are you cleaning that up, I hope? We kind of stuffed everything in there when we moved. Anyway, it was a wonderful thing, and we've got lots more coming. So starting next Sunday and happening on the first Sunday of every month going forward, we're going to have a brown bag lunch after service with some sides, snacks, and drinks provided by the center prior to Reverend Cindy leading us in a community visioning. Yes. So visioning, for those of you who don't know and aren't part of a team who's gotten the opportunity to vision with Reverend Cindy or taken the visioning class, it just happened. Visioning has really become an important focus of our center here. It is a spiritual practice that helps us to tune in to what it is that Spirit is wanting to express in, as, and through us, including us as a center. So you don't have to have any experience because Reverend Cindy will be teaching it and she'll be leading it. I personally have found it to be a transformative process, and I encourage everyone to take advantage of this great opportunity to do this with your community here. So Perhaps you will discover through visioning or some other spiritual practice you have that you're being called to serve in our center in a particular way. Maybe you love kids and the science of mind teachings, and you recognize what a blessing it would have been if you had learned these teachings when you were 5 or 6 or 8 years old. Those kids are in there learning that they are whole, perfect, and complete just the way they are. Can you imagine learning that as a child? Well, our youth and family team gets to use creative projects and fun in order to pass along those kinds of lessons to our kids in an age-appropriate way that those little souls who join us here on Sunday morning can understand. And we're looking for others who want to join that amazing team. You just need to serve one Sunday a month. So if you feel called to learn more than you teach, because those little kids will indeed teach you, please contact our team leads, Hildreth Ferris or Theryl Hinckley. And Theryl's right there. Hildreth is with the kids, but there's contact information probably on the concierge table or for sure on the website. And our website is spirituallyfree.org, and you can always find the latest information about anything that's happening and watch prior services, do a prayer request. It's all there. So we're getting ready for that time where I remind you that our center was founded on, and it is grounded in prayer. Our professional prayer practitioners spend years training in the art and science of affirmative prayer, and they are ever ready to pray with and for you. So if you have any issues going on in your life for which you would like some support, please see one of the practitioners wearing a purple stole after the service, or put in a prayer request. We have a prayer box out in the lobby, or you can 24/7 on the website put in a prayer request. And this is the time in our service where we go into prayer. So I invite you to settle in, allow that sacred voice within you to speak to you as Selena does our reading and our sacred music centers us. And then Selena's going to lead us in prayer.
Good morning. Our readings this morning, in honor of Black History Month, I'm going to do 3 short ones by 3 very intelligent, strong Black individuals. Janelle Monáe, Barack Obama, George Washington Carver. Embrace what makes you unique, even if it makes others uncomfortable. I didn't have to become perfect because I've learned throughout my journey that perfection is the enemy of greatness. The best way to not feel hopeless is to get up and do something. Don't wait for good things to happen to you. If you go out and make good things happen, you will fill the world with hope. You will fill yourself with hope. How far you go in life depends on your being tender with the young, compassionate with the aged, sympathetic with the striving, and tolerant of the weak and strong. Because someday in your life, you will have been all of these.
In this very room, there's quite enough love for one like me. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for one like me. And there's quite enough peace and quite enough power to walk through my every fear. For is in this very room. In this very room, there's quite enough love for all the world. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for all the world. And there's quite enough peace and quite enough power to walk through our every fear. For Spirit, one Spirit, is in this very room. In this very room. In this very room.
This day I am filled with gratitude. Gratitude for this beautiful day of absolute potential, for this community, for the love that flows in and through each individual. And recognizing that, I know that that one presence and power is at work in this moment, moving in and through all of life today and always, without beginning or end, expressing as absolute divine right action, intelligence, strength, love, and compassion. And just as I know these truths of that divine presence, I know the same truth for each person in this room and joining us virtually, for all of creation. That each of us are part and parcel of that one, that we also move with divine direction, with love and compassion and intelligence. Resting in these truths, I know this service to follow. I just bless it, every person involved. The messages we will hear flow easily and touch deeply. The music is uplifting and brings us to that next level of understanding. And every hand that has touched this service, may they be blessed. Every person in attendance, every person joining us online. Resting in this, we just simply say together, and so it is.
Thank you, Selena. I'm going to invite you to sing with us. We're talking about curiosity today. There's always something that we wonder about. And the next step is to find out, take a step, figure it out. This song is called Here Goes Nothing. Sing along with us.
I'm through asking where I'm going. I've been asking all my life. I've grown tired of all this wondering when everything seems to turn out right. when my mind needs something to do, wants to know the future, I whisper this truth. I'm okay. I've always been, and I will always be that way. So here goes nothing. I'm taking a chance, opening up, knowing I'm in good hands. Here goes everything. It's all on the line, but I'm not afraid this time. Some say it's crazy, some say naive to close my eyes and take a leap, but I know better, 'cause I believe even in the dark my soul can see. So when my mind plays its usual games, oh, my answer is always the same. Here goes nothing. I'm taking a chance, opening up, knowing I'm in good hands. Here goes everything. It's all on the line, but I'm not afraid this time. Here goes nothing. I'm taking a chance, opening up, knowing I'm in good hands. Here goes everything. It's all on the line, but I'm not afraid this time. No, I'm not afraid this time. I'm okay. I've always been, and I will always be that way.
Yes, you'll always be that way. It's my pleasure to introduce my very good friend for special music today. I've known Rory a long time. And speaking of curiosity, he brought me out of a depression just by asking the question, what are you curious about right now? And that really pulled me up. It was great.
I don't remember
Rory
that.
and Faye are just a blessed part of this community. If they're not here, they're on their property in central Utah with a utility vehicle and tents, in the cold. No matter what the weather is like, that's where they escape to. Rory has always been quite an adventurer, but he is astoundingly brilliant. Wonderful songwriter, but I'm just positive this guy can do anything. He doesn't have a cape or anything, but he's a hell of a musician, a hell of a nice guy, and let's give a round of applause. My friend, Rory Norseth.
Thank you, Rick. Where is this guy? I want to meet him. Right? So we've been thinking and talking about the intersection between curiosity and courage all month. And believe it or not, I came to some realizations, which I think is the point, right? For me personally, and I was surprised. Curiosity and courage are linked, like two sides of the same coin. And if I'm going to spend, let's say, $1 on curiosity, I can plan on dropping 5 on courage to deal with the interesting times that follow. And I think about it like a 4-way stop. And coming from another direction, we have this idea of love with a lowercase l at the level of human experience, kind of where the rubber meets the road. And I have this song that speaks to those things. This is called Aikido Love. Ready, band? Well, here we stand at the end of the road, not taking all alone with our thoughts of the words unspoken. We find ourselves trapped in a dream we can't remember. These memories still haunting me when the mirror's been broken. So don't you cry, for you and I will surely fly. Well, here we stand at the end of the road, not taking. We start again in the love that won't be forsaken. We found ourselves in a dream, for we have awakened. We'll surely fly to where the end has become the beginning. So you and I will share a love that cannot be shaken. So hold my hand, and I can do my heart every you awaken. Hand in hand, we make a stand with words loud spoken. We took the path to the fork in the road of the love less traveled. And here we stand at the place where the end has become the beginning. And won't you know, we're not alone, we have each other. So hold my hand, and I can do my heart every awaken. It's hand in hand, we make a stand with words loud spoken. Took a path to the fork in the road of the love less traveled. And here we stand at the place where the end has become the beginning. And wouldn't you know, we're not alone, we have each other. So don't you cry, for you and I will surely fly. So don't you cry, for you and I will surely fly. Thank you.
That's a road trip song.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Rory. Thank you, band. Oh my gosh, we are so blessed with our musical program here. Oh my goodness. Rocking out this morning. I hope everyone's awake. If you didn't have your coffee, here we are, wide awake. So good morning, everybody. Yes, it's the last talk about the connection between curiosity and courage. Can you believe it's the end of February already? And as you heard, my title is, Did Curiosity Kill the Cat? So you'll have to wait a few minutes for me to answer that. Yeah. So first I want to go into our lesson for the season of nonviolence. Today the lesson is listening. Today, stop what you're doing and take 5 minutes to listen to the feelings behind someone's words. Be fully present for the conversation and show interest in what the person is saying. We can do that today. So after service, find someone that you haven't seen for a while, or even better, find someone you don't know and strike up a conversation and allow yourself to listen. Also, this is the last Sunday for celebrating Black History Month. So I've got a lot of really good stuff for you. Let me get a sip here first. Oprah said, "The true meaning of courage is not to be afraid, actually is to be afraid, and then with your knees knocking and your heart racing, step out anyway. Even when it doesn't make sense to anybody but you. I know that's not easy, but making a bold move is the only way to truly advance toward the grandest vision the universe holds for you." So along those lines, I'm a part of the CSL ministry listserv that sends me lots of emails every day. And I don't always have time to look at each and every one, but on this day, I clicked into this email. And what it was a list of Black American women that have changed our world. And I read through each person and what they offered the world. And I was struck at how profoundly curious and courageous each and every one of them are. So I picked out a few to talk about. Isn't it nice when you can walk in your house and turn on your heater? Alice Parker. She's the one that you can thank for this. She decided to design a natural, gas-fueled, new and improved heating furnace. Her design earned a patent in December 1919 and helped birth the thermostat and the standard forced air furnaces in most homes today. Yeah, I didn't know that either. Then there's everything good about our phone. Remember the days before call waiting and caller ID? Anybody remember those days? Yeah? Yeah? Okay. I'm one of them, and it means we might be old, but that's okay. Maybe not. And most of you have the great appreciation, then you'd have the appreciation for Dr. Shirley Jackson. Her work led to innovations along with developments in touch-tone phones, fax machines, and the fiber optic cables that make your long-distance calls crystal clear. Jackson was the first Black woman to earn a doctorate from MIT, and the first Black female president of a significant technology institute. She became the first Black woman appointed chair of the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission. And her list of achievements goes on and on. You can Google her. Amazing woman. And as I'm going through these, just think of this. These are Black Americans that didn't have the kind of support that white Americans had. They had to be fiercely, uniquely courageous and curious to move on to do what their life was calling them to do. So speaking of rock and roll, Rory, I've got a good one for you. Many people credit the inventing rock and roll to people like Elvis Presley, who was called the king of rock and roll. Chuck Berry was the father of rock and roll. Alan Freed coined the term rock and roll. But did you know that rock and roll has a godmother? I was telling you about her the other day, Rick. I couldn't remember her name, but I found her. In the 1930s and 40s, Sister Rosetta Tharpe, one of the first people to combine gospel music with melody-driven urban blues, folk, and a unique pulsating swing style. Today, Tharpe's musical style is considered one of the first definite precursors of rock and roll. People and legends like Elvis and Little Richard, Johnny Cash, Chuck Berry were influenced by Tharpe's unique musical style. But yet, somehow, when people talk about the history of rock and roll, her name is left off the list. So I want you to remember her name. Look her up. A really good friend of mine, we call her Queen Michelle back in the Bay Area. She played Tharpe. She played her character in a play, and it was amazing. That's the first time I had found out about this wonderful woman. All those lead guitar riffs, that's what she was doing way back then. So my last one, better eyesight. While she might not be responsible for everyone's sight, Dr. Patricia Bath invented the device that improved the process of removing cataracts. We know cataracts can impair vision and cause blindness. Well, her laser scope, which allows for quick and almost painless removal of cataracts, is used all over the world now. Dr. Bath was the first African-American woman to receive a medical patent, co-founded the American Institute for the Prevention of Blindness, and was the first woman to become the head of residency of the program of ophthalmology. And if that's not enough, she pioneered the concept of community ophthalmology, a system that increased the amount of eye care available to low-income and underserved populations. So just take those amazing women in for a moment and think how curious and courageous they are to bring these things that we use every day in our life. We listen to rock and roll. People I know, especially in my age group, are getting their cataract surgery and having profound changes from that. I go in my house and I turn up my heat. And of course, we all use our phones all the time, every day. So just astounding. So back to my title, Did Curiosity Kill the Cat? First of all, curiosity killed the cat is a proverb used to warn of the dangers of the unnecessary investigation or experimentation. It also implies that being curious can sometimes lead to danger or misfortune. Ooh. The original form of the proverb, now rarely used, was care killed the cat. In this instance, care was defined as worry or sorrow. Now that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Worry does kill the cat. It does kill me as far as if I'm inspired to do something different, to show up as my authentic self, and I'm worried, what happens? I'm stuck. I'm usually at home in bed with the covers above my head or not doing what I'm here to be doing. So I suppose you can say that it did kill the cat, but in this instance, I'm going to say my answer is no. All these cats are alive and well. These women that did these inventions are alive and well. And I'm going to tell you about a instant in my life where I really needed to use my curiosity and my courage to do what I'm here to do. But first, I wanted to talk about Brené Brown for a minute. Who knows Brené Brown's work? Most of the people in this room, yes. Brené Brown is the world's #1 researcher on shame, vulnerability, and courage. She says courage starts with showing up and letting ourselves be seen. Just by showing up. She also said courage is a heart word. The root of courage is core, the Latin word for heart. In one of its earliest forms, the word courage meant to speak one's mind by telling all one's heart. I love that. Over time, this definition has changed, and today we typically associate courage with heroic and brave deeds. But, she says, in my opinion, this definition fails to recognize the inner strength and level of commitment that requires for us to actually speak honestly and openly about who we are and about our experiences, good or bad. Speaking from our hearts is what I think of as ordinary courage. So I love listening to Brené Brown. She did a TED Talk. Maybe she's done more than one now, but her first TED Talk really exploded her out. She's written many books. I've either read or listened to most of them. I think she has a new one. But for me, listening to her always leads me to opportunities to be curious and courageous. I'm going to speak of one of those times now. Many of you that are in this room that have been here before know that I'm one of those people that does crazy things sometimes. Many years ago, when I was sitting on my couch in my house, I saw this documentary. Back then it was called California AIDS Ride. And these really crazy people were getting on their bikes and riding their bike from San Francisco to Los Angeles. And it was all about raising awareness and raising money for AIDS. For people that have it so that they could get their medications, for educating people of how not to get it, and that it wasn't something that you get by touching someone or being in their company. I watched this documentary, and I don't even know how many years ago it was, but I remember sitting there on my couch thinking, I want to do that. It was a little whisper, but it was very strong, and I heard it. I want to do that. Fast forward, Center for Spiritual Living, San Jose. Reverend David Bruner, my senior minister at that time, he tells me, guess what I'm doing? I said, what are you doing? I'm doing the AIDS ride. And I looked at him, and without even thinking, what came out of my mouth was, I want to do that. Now, Reverend David, being Reverend David, he took my hand and he walked me into his office and sat me down in front of his computer and said, "Sign up." Oh boy. I signed up, and the next day I got on my bicycle and thought, holy hell, how am I going to do this? This doesn't feel good. My bike didn't feel good. My knee didn't feel good. There was all these ergonomics that just were not working for me. And I found a way. I researched different bikes. I went to this place that was about 60 miles away from my home, and it was this recumbent bike. It's not low to the ground. It looks like a chopper, you guys. Has big handlebars. It's two-wheeler. It's got a small wheel in the front, big wheel in the back. And I jumped on this bike. They said, "Do you want to try it?" And I said, yes, yes. So I jumped on the bike. And he said, it might take you a few minutes to get used to it because, it's a very different feeling than a regular bike. It's longer. And I jumped on it, and I didn't have any problem at all. So there I was riding in their parking lot in circles. And I thought, I can do this. I can really do this. In between seeing that video, the documentary from years and years ago, and actually signing up, I have to tell you the quick story of my friend Danny. Danny and I worked together in photo labs for many years. He was this tall, hunky, beautiful Argentinian hunk of a man who was always smiling. Big head of dark hair, mustache. He was a beautiful being, and we were fierce friends. Danny and I kind of drifted away, and what I realized was he wasn't really reaching out to me, but he also wasn't reaching out to other people. And I had heard stories of Danny being ill a lot. And there was something inside of me that kind of knew what was going on, but I never heard it from him, and I also know that he didn't tell anybody else. So I called Danny after I signed up. And I said, "Danny, guess what I signed up for? I'm going to do the AIDS life cycle ride." And he got really quiet on the other side of the phone. And he said, "I have to tell you something. I'm HIV positive. And I've on and off been sick for years. And I didn't want to tell you. And I didn't want to tell our friends." And we talked for a long time, and I said, "Danny, you are not this disease. I know who you are." We kept in touch. And at the same time, Danny didn't feel comfortable enough to tell other friends. Before I did my second ride, I reached out to Danny and I couldn't get hold of him. I called my other friend Keith and I said, "What's going on?" So he went over to his house and he reached out to his sister, and he came back with the news saying that Danny passed. And he passed in his home alone because he didn't feel comfortable that his loved ones, his friends, would accept him. It crushed me. It broke my heart. So that year on the ride, what I did was I dedicated my ride to Danny. I had signs made writing for Danny. I talked about him and the crazy times that we had and talked about him to other people. On the AIDS ride, the thing is that I really recognized by coming into alignment with these other 3,000 people that we're doing something with the same intention, how powerful that is. We call it the love bubble. So there we are riding on the coast, sometimes standing in lines 10 minutes to use a porta potty, but none of that matters. None of that matters. What I realized for myself is when I saw that first documentary, I was curious. How can I make a difference? What is for me to do? I didn't have an answer right away until I talked to Danny. Then I understood, oh, I had no idea. This is mine to do. This is mine to do. So that year that I rode for Danny, I got through it pretty well, the actual ride itself, with, ups and downs, tears and laughter, all kinds of things going on emotionally. Lots of connections, people that I'll never forget, people that I call family to this day. I got to the end of the ride, and when you get to the end of the ride, those days we went into the veterans facility in Los Angeles, and you ride your bike in through the balloons and everybody giving you high fives and cheering for you, and you end up in this big giant venue, this big circle. And I was standing there holding my bike, and I thought, I did it. I did it for Danny. Well, something happened. What they do is we leave a space open in the middle of this circle for the riderless bike. And they push this bike up the center. And there was something about the whole process and allowing myself to show up and do what I'm here to do, to support everybody in this world that's going through HIV, that I couldn't stand. I buckled, my knees buckled. I almost fell to the ground, but one of the roadies that was standing next to me on the medical team, he grabbed me and he pulled me in, and I just sobbed. I don't know his name. When I finally had my footing below me and I could stand on my own and hold the bike, this person just disappeared. As soon as he was there, it was as quick as he was gone when I could stand on my own. And for me, I knew that was Danny. He was there to catch me and hold me and say, thank you. Thank you, friend, for showing up. Thank you for doing your best that you could do. So, this cat didn't die. I did 6 rides altogether. I rode it 4 times, and I roadied twice. It will always be a passion of mine. Will I do it again? Who knows, maybe. It's a huge, huge commitment if you're riding. It's not the week of the ride, that's the commitment. That's the fun part. It's the training, the months and months of training. Along the way, what did I get in return for being curious and courageous? Our lifelong friends. Knowing that I have stamina. Knowing that this body temple can be trained to do anything. Knowing that I can be a small part of a whole. That year, I think the amount that we raised was, I think it was like $10 million. for very needed programs. So I'm grateful to have a community that I can be curious with, and to have a community I can be courageous with. As we move forward, let's take today's lesson of listening really to heart and listen to each other in that way. Let's pray. Take a nice deep breath in. And if tears came forth as they did for myself, just allow it. As we allow it and we surrender, the beauty of each tear I am grateful for. I am grateful for my Danny. And that documentary that I watched so many years ago. I am grateful for Reverend David taking my hand and not letting me wiggle out of signing up and doing it. I am grateful for this beautiful community and each and every soul that is here in the room and those souls that stream with us diligently. We feel you. We know you're with us. And I am grateful that you're here. And I am also grateful to know that there is one power, one presence, one love, one heart, one mind. This oneness is called by many names: Mother, Father, the Force, God, Spirit, Hashem, the Way, Divine Mind. So many names and so many faces, and yet only one. This one is everywhere. It's in every cell, every atom, everything we see and hear, and even those things that we can't see and we can't hear, but they're there. These multiple dimensions of life that are always with us. What I call this is the God particles that are in every chair that we sit upon. Every snowflake, every raindrop, every leaf, every flower in bloom, every animal, every being, every sentient being is filled with these God particles that are the same as the stars in the sky, the sun and the moon, the oceans. So I know that each and every beautiful being of light is filled and overflowing with that which is God, Spirit, oneness. I know this for myself. I can never be separate from it because I am it. I allow it to flow through me and as me. And I know this truth for every being hearing this message, this prayer. Whether here in this room or at home in your pajamas, it doesn't matter. Or even when you listen to this recording later, we know who we are. And because of that knowing with the capital K, I claim and know that we are here to be curious. We are here to be courageous because we know that that courageousness is telling the truth of who you are and your experiences and your life and how it intertwines with everybody else. Because we show up as that courageous one, we empower and make way for our loved ones to also be courageous. Our loved ones, our children, our parents, our friends, our coworkers, the world at large. And I know that we make a powerful difference just by knowing this and knowing who we are, including in those war-torn places of the world that are experiencing something other than love. We get to hold and know the banner of love and courageousness for them until they know it for themselves. So at this time, I ask for you to speak your name and the name of a loved one that is in need of prayer today. You can speak it out loud whether you're at home or in this room. But here's the space for all of us to do so. Cindy, Michael, Karen, Marilyn, Danny, Allie, Kimberly, Madeline, Lynn, Roy, and just keep speaking the names if there's more to be said. Because this is a powerful, powerful prayer vortex that we have created with our hearts, with our courage, with our curiosity. And I know that as we've requested and affirmed our prayers today, the universe, spirit, God, oneness says yes. Yes, 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 this and so much more. Yes, my beloved. So I'm thankful for the yes and for answered prayer. I am thankful for this community. I am thankful for these beautiful souls here with me today. So I release these words into the power of prayer, into the oneness, into that liquid lighted love, into that divine matrix where we are all connected. And I let it be. And I surrender by saying, and so it is. Amen.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I give. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Thank you, thank you. As you can see, the baskets are coming around. We're doing our giving a little bit differently, so yes, ushers, come on forward. We're going to bless these gifts, but first, before we bless them, I just want to say to you online and to all of you out in the audience here, thank you. I know that many of you give automatically. You don't necessarily give when you come to the center like I do. So I want you to know how grateful we are for your gifts. And I want you to know that the board really, really is grateful because it's a way that we can make a budget so that we can have such a beautiful musical program. We can have special guests, we can have concerts, we can have classes. So it really helps in so many profound ways. So let's bless this offering together. So I like to say that you want to pull your heart through your hands and aim them at these baskets here as we bless these offerings. And just repeat after me. Thank you, oneness.
Thank you, oneness.
Thank you, Spirit.
Thank you, Spirit.
For all these gifts.
For all these gifts.
I give from the overflow.
I give from the overflow.
I give from love.
I give from love.
And I know
And I know
these gifts
these gifts
come back multiplied abundantly.
come back multiplied abundantly.
And so it is.
So it is.
Thank you all.
All that I need comes to me. All that I need comes to me. The light of love and grace shines upon my face. All that I need comes to me. I've been set free, I'm released. I've been set free, I'm released. The burden of my past has gone away at last. I've been set free, I'm released. All that I need comes to me. All that I need comes to me. The light of love and grace shines upon my face. All that I need comes to me. All that I need comes to
Let's hear another tune from Rory Norseth.
So I would really like to thank the band for helping me out on that last one. You guys kicked it there. Sometimes there's this place, and I imagine it happens to the other members, but where in that song, I forgot I was playing, I forgot I wrote the song, I forgot I was singing, and it's very transcendent. In the moment, yeah. So, this is a clue. So, did curiosity kill the cat? Well, I say no. If we've got this crossroads with curiosity and courage, and we've got love barreling down at us like a runaway locomotive, coming from the other direction, is this poor old curious cat. This cat that interacts with curiosity in such a curious manner. Well, I know that cat. It's this ornery old dude used to live around the block from me. And he drives around this beat-up old pickup truck with an equally beat-up old acoustic guitar riding shotgun. And he travels the back roads of rural America. And he goes from small town to small town. And he cruises the main drag of each town that he comes to, and he's looking for the local tavern or the diner coffee shop or the benevolent order of the Elks Lodge, just whatever he can find. And he goes inside and he asks if he can play his guitar for tips. And he ekes out a living this way. They usually let him. And oftentimes it leads to a mill or even a gig on a Saturday night and a room in the attached motel. Well, can't you just see him all alone in that corduroy chair, surrounded and illuminated by a halo of dim light penetrates the smoke-filled air. Flypaper spiraling down from the ceiling. Took the battery out of the smoke detector because this is not his first rodeo, and it won't be his last. 'Cause he can never go home. His heart has been broken, so he goes it alone. His heart is broken, so he drives. And he drives. And he just keeps on driving. And old guitar strings and sad broken dreams often go hand in hand. Down on his luck with his old pickup truck, with nothing to look forward to. Ramshackle hotel rooms with hard-scrabble towns, 40-watt light bulb with lights buzzing around. Playing in taverns and pissing off crowds, dim halos from heaven don't quite touch the ground. He's a redneck with dreadlocks, a hard-headed time bomb, as tough as a bucket of nails. He's an old hand at fighting, but he don't really like to. He's a lover of children and dogs. His life is a story, a lost love and glory. He's a redneck with dreadlocks, don't ever fit in. He needs someone to love, something that's new, someone to look forward to. He lives like a cobweb on the lampshade of life. Dim halos from heaven don't quite touch the ground, but they touch bar stools and every fool who sits chasing the mirror. Dimly lit faces find your solace in all of the noise and the beer. Lonely people who quit just a little too soon. As he plays on the strings in the melancholy dreams of love's fools. He's an old silent warrior who's there when you need him, but never a harsh word to say. His eyes look right through you, his voice comes back to you over and over for days. Well, his heart is a river that no one can ford. His soul is as deep as the sea. And he never forgets them, and how she was beautiful, and how the Lord took her away. She was his red-headed sweetheart, his hazel-eyed spitfire, soft as a butterfly's wing. Heavy with child, their hearts running wild, with lifetimes of dreams and desires. But the good Lord mistook her for an angel gone missing. Dim halos from heaven don't quite touch the ground. As he plays on the strings in the melancholy dreams of love's fools. As we wade through the stream in the melancholy dream of love's fool. Well, old guitar strings, sad broken dreams.
Man, I can tell a story. That's awesome. Thank you, Reverend Cindy. Marvelous talk once more. love the power in your personal stories, and the message about listening really got there. Shemaine and I smiled at each other because the 40-minute drive up here to go to church, we were complaining about how people don't listen.
She was complaining that people don't listen.
Yeah, take a moment and intend to hear with an open heart what somebody has to say. Thank you for giving us a voice, and thank you for the permission to listen well. Have a blessed rest of this month. Let's stand together. We're going to sing our closing song. The seed of curiosity we're sowing grows into something beautiful and something we can step out and courage to just grab hold of. Seed to sow. Let's sing along.
Some people quietly reveal in the manner of the meek. Some people shout the way they feel to a radical degree. Sometimes it's me. But let me tell you about one thing I know. Everybody's got a seed to sow. Let your heart of hearts take you down the road. 'Cause everybody's got a seed to sow. Everybody's got a seed to sow. Some people sing it to express, while others hear another call. Some people speak with subtleness, some don't rely on words at all, no. But let me tell you about one thing I know. Everybody's got a seed to sow. Let your heart of hearts take you down the road. 'Cause everybody's got a seed to sow. Everybody's got a seed to sow. We are all pieces of the whole with different feelings to evoke. Giving distinction to the role, different players, different strokes, yeah. And let me tell you about one thing I know. Everybody's got a seed to sow. Let your heart of hearts take you down the road. 'Cause everybody's got a seed to sow. 'Cause everybody's got a seed to sow. Some people walk, some people race, some bury their pace. But love will use what you will give, surrender to your shade of grace. Yeah. Oh, let me tell you about one thing I know. Everybody's got a seed to sow. Let your heart of hearts take you down the road. 'Cause everybody's got a seed to sow. Everybody's got a seed to sow. Everybody's got